You won't believe what happened to Buddy, Max, and Daisy, and why millions of years of terror came to an end in one blazing, unforgettable night. If you're hearing this right now, stick with me until the very end, because the twist will leave you speechless. And hey, if you want more epic tales where courage wins against impossible odds, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. The sky burned red that evening. Not from a sunset, but from the glow of fire reflected off the clouds. The dinosaurs were on the hunt again. For months, the peaceful valleys had been under siege by monstrous beasts, their roars shaking the ground, their shadows blotting out the sun. Nothing could stop them, until the day the dogs received a visitor unlike any they'd ever met. Buddy was the oldest of the pack, a golden retriever with wise eyes and a limp from a battle long past. Max, a spirited border collie, was quick as lightning but reckless, and Daisy, a gentle beagle, was small but carried a heart bigger than any of them. They had spent weeks hiding in caves, watching as the Tyrannosaur and his pack tore through the land. No animal dared resist until a voice came to them in the quiet of the night. It was soft at first, like a breeze, but it carried warmth, courage, and something more, peace. "My friends," the voice said, "you have been chosen." From the shadows, a figure stepped forward, bathed in a light that seemed to push back the darkness. It was Jesus. He knelt before them, his hand resting gently on Buddy's head. "I have seen your suffering. But I have also seen your bravery. The time has come to end the terror, not with hate, but with courage and unity. Will you stand?" The dogs glanced at each other. Buddy's tail thumped once against the ground. "We'll stand," Max barked, trembling but resolute. Daisy nodded, ears low but eyes fierce. Jesus explained the plan. The dinosaur's strength was their size, but it was also their weakness. Lured into a narrow canyon, they could be trapped in a ring of fire, forcing them toward the cliff that overlooked the sea. It would be dangerous, and the pack might not survive, but if they didn't try, no one would be left to protect. The journey to set the trap tested them more than any battle before. Max darted ahead, weaving through the tall ferns to scatter scent trails, knowing the dinosaurs would follow. Buddy, with aching legs, carried burning branches from a nearby volcano vent, the heat searing his fur. Daisy slipped through tiny cracks in the canyon walls, spreading the fireline Jesus had shown her in his vision. Above, Jesus moved like light itself, guiding them, shielding them from the predators that lurked. But the dinosaurs came sooner than expected. The earth shook, boom, 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 each step of the Tyrannosaur echoing like a war drum. Max was still out in the open. "Go!" Buddy barked, pushing Daisy ahead. He turned back just as the Tyrannosaur's massive head lowered, teeth glinting. At the last possible moment, Max leapt over a fissure, the beast crashing down behind him, slowed just enough for the trap to spring. The canyon lit up. Flames roared, licking the sky. The dinosaurs bellowed, trapped in the narrowing path. The fire drove them forward until the cliff edge came into view. But the Tyrannosaur didn't stop. Instead, it charged, rage in its eyes, ready to take the dogs with it into the depths. That's when Buddy made the choice. He sprinted forward, barking with every ounce of strength left, drawing the Tyrannosaur's gaze. It lunged after him, blind with fury, and in that moment, its own momentum carried it over the edge. The crash into the sea was deafening, the waves swallowing the monster and its reign forever. The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by the crackle of dying flames. Max limped forward, eyes searching for Buddy, and then he saw him, clinging to a ledge below. Daisy cried out with joy, and together they pulled him back up. Above them, Jesus smiled, his light gentle now. "You have done well, my friends. The land is free." And in that moment, with the smoke rising into a clear sky for the first time in ages, they realized something. It wasn't just about defeating the dinosaurs. It was about standing together, even when the world seemed impossible to face. So remember this, no matter how big the challenge, no matter how dark the night, courage, unity, and love can bring the dawn. And if you believe in that, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this story, because someone out there might need the reminder today. Buddy's fur was still damp from the cliffside rescue when the first light of morning began to spill over the horizon. The valley was silent now, no more stomping feet, no more screams in the night. Only the whisper of the wind over the ash-covered ground. Max paced restlessly. "We did it, right?" They're gone? His voice trembled, not from fear, but from the echo of adrenaline still running through his veins. Jesus stepped forward, his robe fluttering lightly in the breeze. The Tyrannosaur will not return. The sea has taken him, and with him, the fear that gripped this land. Daisy sat down, her small frame shivering despite the growing warmth of the sun. I still hear them, in my head. The roars. The way the ground moved. Her eyes dropped to the scorched dirt. I don't know if I'll ever forget. Buddy limped closer and laid his head gently on her shoulder. Maybe we're not supposed to forget, he said quietly. Maybe that's how we remember why we fight, why we protect each other. They didn't leave the canyon right away. The trap had taken everything out of them, and yet, there was more to be done. Jesus knelt, drawing in the ash with his finger. His lines formed a circle, and within it, 3 paw prints. You 3 have been given a gift, he said softly. Not just the courage to face danger, but the bond to carry each other through it. This bond will guide others one day. The dogs listened, unsure if they understood fully, but feeling the truth settle into their hearts like warm embers. They began the journey back to the valley slowly, stopping to help the other animals who had been hiding. A family of deer stepped cautiously from the ferns, a mother clutching her fawn close. Rabbits emerged from burrows, blinking against the daylight they thought they might never see again. Word spread quickly, the pack had done the impossible. But peace was not instant. The land bore scars. Great trees lay splintered, rivers ran muddy from the stampede, and many were still missing. This became their next challenge, not fighting, but rebuilding. Days turned into weeks. Max worked tirelessly, guiding lost animals back to safety. Daisy carried food to those too weak to travel. Buddy, despite his limp, oversaw the rebuilding of shelters. And sometimes, late at night, they would see a faint glow in the distance, Jesus, walking the ridge, keeping watch. One evening, as the 3 dogs lay by a small fire, Daisy broke the quiet. Do you think we'll ever face something like that again? Buddy didn't answer right away. The firelight flickered across his face, and his eyes drifted toward the stars. I don't know, he admitted. But if we do, we'll be ready. Together. Jesus appeared then, sitting beside them as if he'd always been there. Remember, he said, the greatest battles are not always against what you can see. Fear, doubt, and division can be as dangerous as any predator. Guard against them, and you will guard this land. When morning came, Jesus was gone, but his words stayed. The valley began to thrive again. Flowers bloomed over the blackened ground, rivers ran clear, and laughter, honest, unshaken laughter, returned to the air. Years later, when pups played near the cliffside, they would hear the old story. How 3 dogs, guided by a light that never dimmed, faced the monsters no one else dared to stand against. How they turned terror into hope. How they reminded the world that even the smallest can change the fate of the greatest. And if you're watching this right now, remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the choice to protect, to stand, even when you're shaking. If this story has sparked something in your heart, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear that they are stronger than they think. Because just like Buddy, Max, and Daisy, you never know when your moment to stand will come.